Hey guys, and welcome to a new series that I'm going to be starting. I have made a tutorial on how to solve the 3x3 Rubik's Cube in a beginner method. However, I have not made a video on a more advanced method, and that's what I'm going to be doing here today. Except I'll be doing it in parts. The first part is going to be about the cross. And before we get into this very much, I want to say what this method is called. It's called the Friedrich method, or Cfop. Now I'm going to go over what the acronym Cfop means. The C means cross, which is what we're going to be going over here today. The F means F2L, which means solving the first two layers. So you would make pairs, something like this. You'd pair the corner and the edge together, and then insert them where they need to go. The O stands for orienting the last layer, so getting all of the yellow corners and edges on the yellow face. And then lastly, P stands for PLL, and that's when you're moving around these yellow corners and edges to put them in the correct place. I will teach you all these algorithms that you need to know, but let's go ahead and get started with the first step, which is to solve the white cross. Now this video will be divided up into two sections. The first one will be more of a beginner cross for Cfop, and the other will be more of an advanced cross once you've gotten down the basics. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do in this tutorial is I will walk you through several of the examples you might run into, and then I'll do something sort of to a walkthrough solve of just the white cross. So the first part will just be simply a kind of tutorial method, and the second part will be a walkthrough solve. And then I'll move on to the more advanced. So we've got the beginner cross here, and what you're going to want to do is you're always going to want to have white as your bottom face. Because as soon as you're done with the white cross, you're going to move right into F2L, and you're ultimately solving on the yellow face as your last step. So that way there aren't any cube rotations in the solve. So let's go ahead and start off with this white and red edge. We could simply just move it up, like that. And remember, we do not want to have our white facing up. Second, we have this white and orange edge. We can just move it over and then move it up. We have this white and blue edge, which to get it up, there are several ways we can do it. To me, it's the easiest way just to put it up so it's matching like this. Get it on the white face so you can move it out of the way, and then bring this white and orange edge back. So lastly here we have the white and green edge. To get it down here where it needs to go, we could simply just move it down, get it out of the way of this face, and then fix our white and orange edge. So now what we can do is just do an F2 to bring the piece down. So we have solved our white cross, and making sure that we've done this correctly, these pieces should all match up as the same color, which they do. Okay, so we'll do another solve here for the white cross. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move this white and blue edge up first. Again, we're doing all of this with yellow as our up face. So now we notice that we have this white and orange edge, except it's on the red side. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring it down, and then move it over to the orange side, and then move it up. We didn't have to worry about moving this side back because there was no solved edge on it. And lastly here we have this white and red edge. We can simply get it up here. I'll demonstrate the other way this time you can do this. Move it out of the way. You can slice this M layer up, move it back over, and then slice back down. So we should have all of these centers and edges matching up, which they are. Alright, so go over one more example, and this might just be a little bit trickier than what you're used to. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by looking at where the pieces are. Again, with yellow as your up face. We can see that the orange is opposite of the red. And right here we can see that blue is opposite of green. When we want to move this piece up, it's exactly in the opposite place of where it needs to go, which is over here. This piece is also in the exact opposite of where it needs to go, which is over here. So what we can do is, since both of these pieces are opposites of each other, once we have them up, we could just simply do a D2. And as you can see, they're both matching up here. So we can go back over here, and we can notice this piece matches up with the green, so we can just move it up. And lastly here, with this white and red edge, we could simply bring it down, move it out of the way, fix our white and green edge. And then we can go ahead and move this piece up by doing an F2. Alright, so that solves our white cross. Now let's go ahead and do a couple of walkthrough solves on the white cross. Alright, so with yellow as our up face, we're going to go ahead and start this cross. We can see that this white and green edge can just be moved up. The white and blue edge can just be moved up. We can go ahead and move this piece up as well. And to get this last white and orange edge up here, we can simply move it down to the bottom layer, move it out of the way, bring this back, and do an F2 to get it in. So there we have our first example solve. And I'll do 4 more of these just so you get an idea. Alright, number 2. We can bring this piece up. We can bring this piece up. And we know, since that this red is opposite of the orange, and the orange is opposite of the red, when we do a D2, it will solve them. We have the white and green, which we can simply move up by moving it out of the way. Bring it up. Move it so it's on the white face, and bring this back. And lastly, for our white and blue, which is right here, we could simply move it down, out of the way, bring this back, and then move it up. So we have our whole white cross solved. Number 3. Yellow is our up face. We can go ahead and start off by moving this white and blue piece up. Next, we can move the white and green over so that it's matching, and bring it up. White and red, we can put it up here by moving it down, out of the way to bring this back up. We can do an F2. And then for this piece, we can bring it down, move it out of the way, and bring this back, and then move it up. So there we have it. We have our cross solved again. Okay, so for the 4th solve here, we can obviously tell that we're going to want to do the opposites here, because both of these pieces are opposite. So we're going to bring this down, move it out of the way, and bring this back. Do an F2. Our last piece is right here. So what we can do is we can just simply do a D2 to solve all of these pieces, and then bring this one up. So we have completed our white cross a 4th time. Okay, so lastly here for our final cross walkthrough solve, you can notice here that this is kind of a different case. We have all of these edges are flipped. Now, it's unlikely that you will get this case in a scramble, but I'm going to show you a really nice shortcut to solving this. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick an edge, it doesn't matter which one, to start off the sequence of moves. You're just going to go ahead and move each edge down, and it will solve your cross. An easy way to tell whether or not this works, if you have the right case, is if all these edges need to go to the left once. So white and green, green needs to go to the left once. White and red, red needs to go to the left once. White and blue, blue needs to go to the left once. And white and orange, orange needs to go to the left once. So therefore, when you go ahead and complete this, all you have to do is rotate each face once, and that will get that edge in the correct position so you can move it up. It's unlikely you'll get this case in a scramble, But I just decided to throw it out there in case you do, so you know of a shortcut. Okay, so just a few more tips before I move on to the advanced cross tutorial section of this video. Just remember to make sure that yellow is always on top and white is on the bottom, because this will make it so that you don't have to rotate your cube when you're doing the yellow cross after you're done with your white cross. And also remember to make sure that these colors line up when you have solved your cross. After a while, you just get used to doing it, and so you won't have to worry about that. Worry about looking at it really, you'll just be able to tell. And also, try to remember to reduce the number of moves that you do in each edge when it gets up here. If you can find out a way to cancel moves so that you won't have to be able to move a piece up. And then there's another edge right here that needs to get down. So you would undo like 3 moves to get it down there. And the advanced section, I'll be talking more about that, so if you'd like to keep watching, then you can. Other than that, you can just keep practicing, and eventually you'll get used to it, and you'll get faster at your cross. Okay, so now it's on to the advanced cross. Now, any cross can be solved in 8 moves or less. So no matter what case you have, you can solve it in 8 moves. And that's what you're going to want to use your inspection for, is to find the quickest way to get these pieces up and then do any moving once they're all up on the white face to get them over to their correct spots. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at in this second part of this tutorial. Okay, so you know by now that you should always have yellow as your top face. So we can go ahead and get started here. We can see, during our inspection time, that we can do 2 moves, get this piece up, move this one over, and then get it up in 3. Next, we can bring this one over in 4. Next, we can bring this one down, move it out of the way, bring that back, and move it up. Lastly, we have this piece, which we can get out by doing this. And then we can just go ahead and do a D2. Okay, so this is where it gets a little more complicated. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at the pieces, which are all on these faces. We're going to notice that if we went ahead and moved this piece over, it would be matching up. However, this white and green edge can also be matched up right here. We just move it over. So what we can do here is we can cancel moves. Instead of keeping this edge here, bringing this up, and then putting this in, and having it right here, what we can do is we can simply go ahead and rotate it over so that it's out of the way of this whole mess we're about to do. And then we can just do an F2, bring this piece up, bring this one up, and then bring this one up, and our last piece is right here, so we can just bring it up. And that solves our white cross in far fewer moves than we would have needed to use had we done it the other way. So we'll just go ahead and go over several other cases. We have this piece, this, and we have this piece. So what we can do to cancel moves is we can first go ahead and move this down so that it's connected right here with the other green center. Next we can move the white and red piece over. We can then move this piece over so that it's matching. Move the white and orange up, do an F2, and then bring this piece up as well. So as you can see, we did that cross in under 8 moves. Okay, so it's inspection time. And it doesn't look like this cross is going to be too easy. So we're going to have to make sure we know what we're going to do. So first we can just go ahead and move this piece up so it gets out of the way. Just like that. And then for these last 2 pieces, what we can do is we can move this one over, bring it up, And then by inserting it so that it's right here, move this piece over and do an R2 to get it up. So we've solved our white cross. Okay, so this last cross here that we're going to do is actually very simple. As we can see, both of these pieces are left to right. The green and orange are left to right. So what we could do by starting out is just simply do a D. And then we'd move both of those pieces so they're in their correct position. Next we can just go ahead and bring this up and do an F2 to get this piece up. So that solves our white cross. Alright guys, so that's about it for this video, for the first of the 4 parts that I'll be going into on the Cfop tutorial series. Now just so you all know, I will not be making these videos one right after the other. There will most likely be a different type of video in between, just to make things a little bit better. But anyhow, that's about it for this video. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. And please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it.